Is it me, or are Travis and Nike running out of ideas? What's up, sneaker people? It's your boy FB Kicks and Gear, and we are back with another legit check guide. And obviously, you see we have the medium olive Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows. And I know I'm a little bit late, and some of the heavy hitters like Marcellus have already gotten their real versus fake comparisons in there, but I am back. I have not just one retail pair, but two different retail pairs. Obviously, only one is featured here in this video, but pretty soon I will be doing a retail versus retail comparison to kind of open up our eyes to some of the retail differences. But this video is going to be part one, and I'm sure what's going to be a long series of legit check guys for the Travis Scott Jordan 1 medium olives. Like I mentioned before, I got two retail pairs, and I am happy to say for the first time ever, I have scored a retail W for the Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows. Actually, three retail W's. One toddler size for my daughter, one men's size from the Travis Scott raffle, and one men's size from the Kith raffle. So we were eating good for this release, and I am very happy to get into this series for you guys. So just like with every other video, authentic pair on the left, this is the pair that I received from the Travis Scott website, and this pair is the replica on the right, and what we will be using as our legit checking marker. Remember, you'll be able to find all the pictures of the replica that you need on the Instagram account that's going to pop up on your screen. With shoes that are this close, y'all need to pay attention to the details. So that's why I give you that information. With all that said, we are going to go through our hit list of things that we like to look at: the boxes, the shape, the materials, the colors, all that good stuff. And we will start to build out our legit checking activities for this shoe. So with that said, let's start with the boxes. And that's going to be pretty short because you guys can see immediately that there is a color difference. This is the box that I believe comes with the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Golfs, and this is the box that comes with these medium olives and the canaries. Very similar to the reverse mocha box, but slightly different. In this case, they are the same size, so we're not going to really dig into the box that deeply, but you guys can see that color difference plain as day. So with that said, let's get the boxes out of the way and let's do our legit checking. So here we have our two pairs, and at first sight, I am a little blown away by how close these are. You guys start to take this in while I start to take this in, but overall, just looking at them right in front of me, I'd say that these are very, very, very close. The first thing that we should probably look at, in my opinion, will definitely be the nubuck, because you know how this is always an area of focus when it comes to shoes like the reverse mochas and the olives and all of the other, you know, nubuck leather themed Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows. So putting them up side by side, and we are definitely seeing a slight color difference. One thing that I will say to you guys though, right up front, my two retail pairs, I've done a comparison, and maybe I'll have a picture post up on the screen right now. My two retail pairs are different colors. One is slightly lighter than the other, and the other one's darker. The pair from the Travis Scott website is the darker one. I don't remember. You guys will see that in that real versus real comparison video that I do, but there's definitely a color difference that I can see. The rep is definitely more of a khaki green, while the authentic pair is more of the olive green. Hopefully that comes through pretty well on the screen. But from a feeling perspective, they do feel very, very close. You can see that the nubuck on the authentic pair isn't perfectly flat. It's that textured nubuck that we see on shoes like the Trophy Room Jordan 1s, and even in the other olive Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows. But you can see a lot of that on the side here. And while we're talking about that, am I the only one who's reminded of Ninja Turtles when they see these shoes? Maybe it's just me. But anyway, we can see that these materials are definitely close, and they're definitely the same type of material, even if the color difference is slightly varies. Moving on to the side panel, you see more of the same similar type of material, obviously. Still seeing that slight color difference between the two. This is my first video, so it's not something that I can speak to just yet, but I'm curious to see if all replica pairs are going to uniformly have this color of nubuck on them. And that's going to be one of those things that, while authentic pairs might vary, the reps will always be a specific shade. So that'll be definitely interesting to see as things develop, but the quality of the nubuck is definitely the same. So that's definitely one thing that we can focus on. But one of the other things that I like to look at when it comes to these Travis Scott Jordan 1 shoes, specifically the ones that have white leather, is whether or not the white leather is the same color. I tend to see for the reverse mochas and even the regular original olives that the white leather just tends to be slightly off in color comparing the reps to the authentic pairs. So the best way to see that color, in my opinion, is to look at the back, because it not only will give us a comparison of the white leather, it'll also give us a comparison of the midsole, outsole colors. So putting them right next to each other, I can definitely see a similar thing going on with these that I see with other replicas, in that the white leather on the authentic pairs is generally a brighter white, while the reps are almost like a sail, almost a little bit off-white gray in comparison. Hopefully you guys can see it in the video, but it definitely comes off when they're right next to each other. And I can also see a slight difference in the colors of the midsoles. The midsole is a little bit darker on the rep than compared to the authentic pair. So that is definitely something I tend to see on reps, and it looks like it's holding true here as well. Very, very slight, but it is a difference nonetheless. Moving on from there, we'll look at the colors of the outsole, and I would say I think they got it spot on. Maybe the rep is just a tiny bit lighter of a green, maybe just a tiny bit, but the authentic pair and the rep definitely look close. The authentic pair does have this strange almost gloss to it that the rep does not have though. From there, let's look at the colors and materials of the tongues. So side by side, I would say that the colors are very, very close when it comes to the nylon in the tongue, but just a little bit different. I'd say the authentic pair just might be a little bit more vibrant of a green, very, very slight. Comparing the tags, for once, it looks like the tags, the Cactus Jack tags on the sides, are identical. I am not picking up any difference looking at them. Size-wise, positioning-wise, they look good. And the Nike Air on the tongue, the reds are very vibrant, and the embroidery looks pretty identical. Maybe a slight darker red to the rep than the authentic. But again, these things are very, very difficult to tell. Overall, I'm not really seeing anything too crazy. Looking at shape, we got your rep here on the bottom, authentic on the top, toe box shape, body shape. They look relatively close, but you guys can look and tell me what you see. The reverse swoosh, similar materials. Maybe the authentic pair is just a little bit thicker of a black leather than the rep, but still very, very similar in appearance. I gotta say, outside of these minor color differences, I'm not really seeing a huge amount of differences here. You know, everything is starting to blend together, to be honest. looking at this insole or the sock liner here, the sock liner is a little bit different from other Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows. This is more of a padded nylon than it is of the regular, fuzzy sock liner that we tend to see. Color wise, they look very, very close. I would say that the rep is a little bit greener, more of a olive green, while the authentic pair is more of a khaki green, if that makes sense, but still very, very, very close. And while we're at it, we can take a look at these shoelaces. This is the authentic box for the black, rep box for the black. I absolutely hate these boxes. They fall apart. They don't hold them well, but I'm not seeing any real differences between the blacks of the authentic and the black of the rep. Slight differences in colors of the boxes though. If you have an authentic box that comes with any other shoe, you should be able to use that as a metric as well. Taking out the pink, identical. We've been there, done that at this point. These laces have been made thousands of different times, so only real difference here is the color of the cardboard box. It's a little bit darker on the rep than it is on the authentic. Only real thing to look at from here is to compare the insoles and see if there's anything funky, because we know we have a trick that I like to use. Now, insoles can be a good tell because colors tend to come off differently and textures tend to come off differently, and that's definitely what we're seeing here. We have the authentic insole here on the left and the rep on the right. And we can see that while they're very, very close, you can see the color difference between the Nikes here. The Nike Air on the rep is more vibrant, and the red on the Nike Air on the authentic pair is a lot more muted. Turning them over, I love to look at the hair on the Cactus Jack of authentic pairs because it's usually thinner, more defined, more wiry than on the rep. And when you look at the hair on the Cactus Jack on the rep, you can see that automatically. This has been a super reliable tell for Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows that use this style insole. Look at the way the hair is here, especially in the middle where it's the most blotchy, and compare that to the authentic. That difference will save you hundreds of dollars. Pay attention to this. Always such a good legit checking indicator. So now that we've done the basics, let's get a black light and see if we can see anything crazy. So on the authentic pair, we're seeing that the Nike Air and the Cactus Jack do light up. On the around the shoe, nothing crazy, nothing crazy. You are seeing some fluorescence out of the Cactus Jack on the side panel. It's not a lot, but it's definitely a little bit reflective. Also, while we're looking at this, pay attention to the positioning. On the inside, Travis Scott lights up on the text. Nothing on the Wings logo. Back of the tongue tag definitely lights up. Similar deal here for the other shoe. Nothing lights up. Nothing too crazy here. We're just looking at the tags and insole activity. So on the rep, nothing. We are getting the similar amount of reaction out of the Cactus Jack. Very similar positioning as well. Nothing's lighting up on the back of the shoe or the side of the shoe, but we are getting some reaction out of the Nike Air and the Cactus Jack on the tongue. And the insoles light up as well. So if I had to pick, or if I had to make my judgment, I would say that there's nothing really we can legit check on these with the black light because they behave exactly the same. All right, folks. Well, that is our legit check guide on the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low medium olives. This is just part one of many. As I look into different batches, there will be other things that I build my knowledge on and will start to point out, but more or less the only real things that I'm seeing for this right now is the slight color differences. And as we learn more, we'll see if that is enough or if there's more differences out there. So with that said, guys, remember, you can see all the pictures that you'll need to educate yourself on the rep pair on the Instagram account that's gonna pop up on the screen. Do your research, people. Please, please, please do your research. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.